Return back to politics because pensioners impacted by the cut to the winter fuel allowance, they've been protesting outside the Labour conference in Liverpool today, trying to make their voices heard. Now, the protest was part of the Defend the Winter Fuel Payment campaign by Unite, the UK's leading union. Now, a vote for the cut to be reversed, originally planned to be held at the conference today, has been pushed back to the final morning and is now due to take place this Wednesday. And I believe many people are unhappy about this. I wonder why they're moving it back. Is it so that it's after Keir Starmer's speech? We can now speak to GB News political correspondent Catherine Forster, who's at the Labour Party conference. Catherine, please tell us, how many people were outside the conference hall there protesting against this measure?
Yes, good afternoon, Emily. Well, a good few dozen at 1 o'clock. I have to say the weather was absolutely atrocious, absolutely pouring with rain, really quite horrible. But a number of people had come out battling the elements, including some quite elderly people, including a lady who told me that she had dementia. She was with a friend in a wheelchair. They were getting absolutely soaked, but they didn't care because they are outraged, frankly, that the government, and a Labour government to cap it all, has made the decision to withdraw the winter fuel payment from 10 million pensioners. Now, of course, the government say they've had tough decisions to make. It's not a decision they've taken lightly. They say that the most vulnerable will be protected, but charities and many others take a rather different view. And it was organised by the Unite union. They are absolutely up in arms. And talking of this vote, it was originally supposed to be after Rachel Reeves' speech. It's been pushed back to what they call the graveyard slot, just before the close of conference on Wednesday. Now, that basically means that, you know, it's the end of the event. The Prime Minister will already be in New York, etc. So let's just take a look now at what some of the people I spoke to earlier had to say to me.
I've got terminal dementia, and I've probably got 5 years if I'm lucky. I could drop down dead now. And we have to have Keir Starmer do that to us. It's heartbreaking.
People can't afford to keep warm as it is during the winter. I can't afford to keep warm during the winter. I'm still working, and we can't afford to keep warm during the winter, so we know how difficult it is. Do you know what? I'm glad my mum's not here, because she wouldn't have survived the winter without it. It's shocking.
So a lot of unhappiness and real worry about what it will mean for some elderly people this winter if they feel that they can't afford to heat their homes. We know that elderly people, particularly vulnerable to the cold, and people do die as a result every year. And the unions, of course, very unhappy about this, Unite Union in particular, and their General Secretary Sharon Graham has been very outspoken and about pushing this vote back. She said that Labour leaders have tried to silence the voice of pensioners, workers and communities, and that they've made blatant manoeuvres to block debate over winter fuel cuts. She goes on to say, when this is widely known, that there will be real anger among everyday people. Real anger. So the unions, of course, normally broadly supportive of the Labour Party, but massive splits emerging already.
Yes, very interesting indeed. And of course, Rachel Reeves, during her speech, she very much doubled down. She justified this. She said this financial black hole, she has to make the difficult decisions to stabilise the economy. But the trade unions are very much turning on her, particularly, as you say, Unite the Union. Thank you very much indeed, Catherine Forster, our political correspondent there at the Labour Party conference.
Carwyn Jones, you were First Minister of Wales. You had a good stint, 2009 to 2018. But anyone thinking about those dates will realise that most of your time leading Wales was spent under a Tory government. So you can say, aren't they blooming awful? It's much harder now, isn't it, for the new First Minister who will be addressing conference today, Eluned Morgan. She has to, I mean, should she? Should she be a critical friend, actually?
Well, the difference is I had 4 months with the Labour government, with Gordon Brown there. I spent 9 years dealing with people who, for example, give loads of money to Northern Ireland, nothing to Wales and Scotland. Now, what's different is, yes, there's a closer relationship, but it means you can get a lot more things done. It's a lot easier to work with people the same political beliefs as you than it is when you've got people who are actively trying to do you down.
Same political views as you, but come on, the winter fuel payment from all but the very poorest pensioners, you can't have been cheering at that one.
Well, look, that's a hard decision, okay? No one's going to be overjoyed at that decision, least of all Rachel. It shows how bad the Tories have left public finances, that decisions like that have to be taken. Now, I'm looking forward to Keir's speech tomorrow, and I want to see hope. We've been honest with people. There's a bedrock of honesty on which a house of hope can be built, and that's where Keir, I hope, and I think, will go tomorrow.
It's a bit miserabilist, isn't it? I mean, I was here in 1997, full of euphoria, things can only get better. It doesn't feel like that. And I think people do need a bit of hope.
I think
they voted for change.
Yeah, I think people are a bit more sceptical now when social media's distorted so many things these days. You don't get that level.
Everyone's been miserable. You can't blame
Twitter
for a lot.
You don't get the same group collective joy that you had back in 97. But you're right. It's really important that we as a party show that there's hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yet we're in a hole, but we know the way out, and that's where I think he will go tomorrow.
Now, you have got big elections in about 20 months' time in Wales.
Yep.
Nigel Farage reform has explicitly said, we are feeling good about Wales because you have a different electoral system for a start. How worried are you? How worried should you be about Nigel Farage? Keir Starmer gave an interview this morning saying he doesn't spend time worrying about Nigel Farage. I think he should.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Let's have that debate about scrapping the NHS, which is what they want to do. Let's talk about how they want to take money away from Wales. They want to scrap the Barnett formula. That means more money for the southeast of England, less money for everybody else in the UK. So I say, let's have it. Let's have that debate, and let's make sure people understand what their policies really are.
OK. Final question to you. The Welsh Parliament is sitting at the moment, I understand, and I'm sure you'd want your former colleagues to be able to watch and listen to your words of wisdom on GB News. However, you cannot get GB News. Even if you want to watch it, the Welsh Parliament has banned it. It's under review. It's ridiculous. Come on.
Well, look, that's a decision taken, but not by the government, or the Welsh Government, but by the presiding officer, Ellen Jones, who runs the Parliament building. It's not to do with the First Minister at all. And, well, here I am. Hopefully people can listen to what I have to say. I'm always keen to make sure that we have a balanced view in broadcasting, and that's why I'm here now.
OK, let's hope she's listening, although if she's at work, she wouldn't be able to. But Carwyn Jones, thank you very much. Enjoy the new First Minister's speech this afternoon. Thank you.